Long way, get this shit a long way, hit the long way, long way, hit the long way, 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 shit, long way, long shit, long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, shit a long way. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit a long way, gotta get the shit a long way, gotta get the shit a long way, gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta get a meal, but she don't understand. She be tripping every day, she be tripping every way, but I gotta get this shit a long way, tryna get money every single way, tryna get money every single day, get money every single way, every day. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. I'm feeling like we be the new slaves, yeah. No, we gotta finish rich, no, we gotta finish rich. Got a new bitch, she don't understand rich, she don't understand, niggas gotta get rich. She don't understand, sometimes we got hit lit, no, we ain't hit lit. Tryna get the long way, yeah. Tryna get the shit the long way, yeah. Coach tryna wrap up a entree, yeah. Told you the other day that did my phone show. We gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way, yeah. Yeah, get the shit the long way. My bitch be trippin' back and forth like the phone way. My name is Tari, and I'm playing games up to nothing Tari. Yesterday she told me that she about to leave, said fuck it, bitch, we gonna get some money. Said fuck it, bitch, I'm about to get some money. So what I do today, I went and got some money, yeah. Cause we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get shit the long way, yeah. Back and forth like the pong way, yeah. Man, I'ma get this shit the long way, get this shit the long way. Just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy. You gotta wear a mask, we the new slaves, and we be wearing this shit like every day. We be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay for me, yeah. So we gon' get this shit the long way, 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 yeah, we get this shit the long way, yeah. Cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, yeah, we gon' get the long way, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to another edition of Savings Minus Debt. I'm your host and founder of SMD. I am not SMD. SMD is a family of people that share my gift. And what is my gift? My gift is that I understand that capitalism is psychological, split into two parts, positive and negative. The whole thing is psychological, but it's split into two parts, psychologically and into positive and negative. It's always been that way. I didn't know that because I was a six-figure VMware engineer, six-figure earning debt slave. And I didn't know that. I thought, I followed everything that everybody else, said, But the reason why I'm saying this after, let me not skip over. With this gift, right? Knowing that the economy is positive and negative, I understand that people that don't understand this, they live on the negative side. And they don't know that they live there. Those are called debt slaves. They don't, and the psychological part is that they don't know that they live there. Okay, that's the psychological part, right? Now, debt slaves are people that believe they can own things with no money of their own. Buy houses with mortgages, own equity in mortgaged houses, buy cars with car loans, stuff like that. That's all of that is mathematically impossible. You can't do any of that, right? But they don't know that. But anyway, but the important part is that that is a major piece of the whole thing. That's how it has to be. It doesn't matter what they believe, whatever, it really doesn't matter. You just don't have to be over there. What I do is help people come to the positive side of the economy and participate in the, put it this way, I help people participate in capitalism positively instead of negatively, okay? So say, for example, I bring you over positively, okay? Now, you understand that you are not a debt slave. So you don't have a mortgaged house in your name. Say like you're a realtor and you don't have a mortgaged house in your name. You know better than financing cars and all this other stuff. But when you sell to debt slaves, that's okay because that's what they believe. That's called business. It's nobody's fault but their own because they don't trust the calculator. That's their fault. So that helps you take your emotions out of selling, knowing that they can't do it really, right? Because sometimes it'll conflict with your morals or whatever, but it really has nothing to do with morals. It's just math and it's the way it works. So anyway, I hope you participate in it positively. So when you go to sell houses and stuff, like when you sell to customers, there's an energy. Believe it or not, the customers can pick up the energy of a desperate person that needs to sell this house so they can pay their bills. They can pick up on that energy. When you understand SMD and you're a realtor and you're selling houses, they won't feel that energy from you because you won't really need to sell that house because you will always have money. You're just there because you're good at what you do. And then later on, you will charge accordingly once you understand your value, understanding SMD, right? Now, anyway, I was a six-figure earning debt slave engineer, following all the credit rules and if I didn't go to college, I wouldn't be shit, so I went to college, got a degree, because it all comes together. Like when you go, you fall in there, start financing stuff so you can show the world. So I could show the world that I made six figures. And then every time, I go out on a date, what's the first question everybody asks? Hey, what do you do? Thinking that has something to do with anything, and it doesn't. It doesn't matter the person's job. I promise you that. It doesn't matter how much they make. It doesn't matter if they're a doctor or a lawyer. They're all debt slaves, okay? It doesn't matter their title. Just what you guys don't understand on the positive side of the economy, the more educated they are, the more valuable of a debt slave they are. That's what you guys know. You guys look at a doctor and be like, wow, he makes money or whatever, right? And all you got to do is ask the doctor, hey, do you have student loan debt? If the doctor says yes, guess what kind of doctor they are? They're a doctor who is a debt slave. That's it. Doctor, debt slave. Their title doesn't mean anything. Okay, it doesn't. I promise you that. And the 95% of the doctors you see that are working, they're owned by the hospital. The hospital owns them. You know how? Because they're begging for student loan forgiveness, making all that money, and still don't believe in themselves enough to pay off a student loan. You know how embarrassing, you know how the hospitals are taking full advantage of that psychological problem? That's a psychological problem. A doctor has $500,000 in student loan debt, but makes $300,000 a year. That's a psychological problem if you're going to a hospital begging for student loan forgiveness, but it's business. The hospital knows that. Hey, we're looking to forgive your student loans. And then the doctors just flood over there. Those are the ones that don't believe in themselves. So they're going to take advantage of you. That's called business. That's why hospitals make trillions of dollars with a T. Trillions. So now when you look at a doctor's salary, that's nothing. That's nothing at all. That's like $300 if you're making trillions of dollars. Paying a doctor $300,000 is like maybe $30 maybe to a trillionaire. Do you understand how it works? When you come to the positive side, that's what I do. So I got out of debt. I realized, I made it to, no, I don't want to skip over this part. I made it to the pinnacle. What everybody on the internet always says, hey, six figures, living in a nice house, nice car, you made it. So you know what I did? I did it. I went on ahead and figured that out. Didn't realize so few people ever make six figures. Now it makes sense. This is why they always thought of, hey, you want to make six figures? You want to make six figures? They say that because you guys, there's a high percentage of you that will never make it and never will. That's why they always say that. Because once I got there, I was like, okay, now what? Nothing. You know what I was? Deep in debt. That's what I was, looking like. To the outside, yeah, of course, it looks like a person making six figures, making payments, though. You guys don't understand the difference. That's a six-figure earner making payments. That's what you see. Then I found Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey basically just said, hey, take this calculator and my baby steps and get the fuck out of debt. That's what he said. Basically, I mean, he didn't say, he doesn't curse. I'm just saying how it sounded to me. I said, it can't be that easy. No way. And then I did it. I was like, what the got to zero? Then Dave started saying, hey, you get down to your mortgage, to pay off all your debt, getting down to your mortgage, start putting away 15% into retirement to do this and that and this and that. See one of my Vesta pros. I was like, wait a minute, Dave. Well, hold up. You're telling me to use the calculator all the way up to here and then stop using the calculator and participate participate in your business plan? No, thank you. I'm not doing any of that. Because when I got down to the mortgage, open up the calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal, I was still in the negative. That's what the calculator says. It says if the calculator could talk, it would say, Linnell, you don't have 15% of anything to put anywhere. I don't know what the hell Dave's talking about, but that's not true. Then I figured out, oh, that's business. Got it. Okay, Dave. Thank you, sir. And that's not even a knock on Dave. I want you guys to understand, the ones that know and the ones that don't know, you probably thinking, oh my God, he's putting Dave down. No, I'm not. I'm not putting Dave down anything. I'm just showing you a business move. That's it. Nothing more than that. I don't care if Dave does that. That's where I got off the Dave train, because I realized something was wrong. I can't do that. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and side with mathematics. That no one can breaks the laws of. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with math and figure out that no, I'm still in debt. Finally got to zero. Now the house example was just an example. I didn't at that time. I didn't have a house. I'm just giving you guys an example. Finally get to zero. I was like, whoa, I've never been here before. I can't really explain the zero feeling. Okay. If you've never been personally at zero ever in your life, you don't know what it feels like, because you've never been there and you probably never even known to go there. But once I got there, I was like, holy moly, what's going on here? You mean I don't have no more due dates to keep track of? Nope. All those due dates and credit card due dates, subscription due date, all that's gone. It's quiet. I was like, whoa. It kind of took me for a shock. I was like, hey man, money's not coming out of my account at this time like it normally is. No, because there's nothing there to go to. And I started thinking to myself, wow, it's just math. It's just math. Then I started trying to tell my friends, and they were like, what the hell are you talking about, Linnell? I was like, what? Linnell, you think you're better than me? And this, and I said, no. I said, it's not that at all. I'm just trying to show you what it says on the calculator. They weren't trying to hear it. I was like, what? Then I realized, I was like, I'm on to something here. Something's not, because everything I'm saying is mathematically correct, but nobody believes me. That's what I was saying to myself. I was like, damn, nobody believes what I'm saying, even though I'm showing them on a calculator. I was like, okay, I'm on to something. I was like, because I was showing the people the calculator. I was like, you don't believe what it says? It was like, no, I don't. I do believe I'm a homeowner with a mortgage. I was like, what? Word? Okay, okay, okay. Fast forward to now. Now I understand it's all psychological. Money doesn't exist for debt slaves. You know why? Because it's them. Debt slaves are the currency. I understand that. Cool, understood. And when you come to the positive side of the economy, there's a new set of rules. Yes, it is. And they don't have to be laws. It just is. Okay. I want you guys to clearly understand that. These rules don't have to be laws. It just is, period. That's a fact. Believe that. That is a fact. I understand that. So when you come here and you might think, hey, he's against the system and this and that. And when you hear people talk like that, you got to stop listening to them. Nope. I'm just here to help you participate in capitalism positively. Because none of this, just like none of this works without debt slaves, none of this works without people that understand either. None of it works. There's obviously not many of us that understand how it works. That's a fact. So I have to bring the people over there wandering around in the debt matrix like I was. Because when I made it to this so-called pinnacle top six-figure earning engineer, something, something, I realized I was missing something. Something it didn't feel right. I really don't know how to explain that part, but I got to this pinnacle place and it didn't feel like it was supposed like I've been told how it's gonna feel when I finally make six figures. You make six figures, you're gonna be this and that and feel like that. And then I got there and I was like, I don't get it. That's what I said to myself. I was standing in my fancy high-rise apartment looking at it, and I was like, okay, I'm missing something because this is supposed to feel different. Sure was. I didn't own nothing. That was the feeling that I didn't know at the time. I owned absolutely nothing but debt. That's what I owned. I was owned, but I didn't have anybody there to tell me that, to say, hey, LJ, you don't own nothing. You're owned. Nobody knows that. I mean, not nobody, but very, very few people on earth know that. I was like, man, this is not feeling the way I've been told it's supposed to feel on the internet. Nope, that's a lie. That's a trick. That's debt slaves sharing information with other debt slaves. You guys don't know that, debt slaves? You guys are debt slaves. You can't put money in retirement. You can't save money on taxes. You can't own the equity in a mortgage house. That's all debt slaves speak. Do you guys know when you talk about words, when you use words in the financial context, do you know those words are positive and negative? Did you know that? You guys don't know that. If you're using words inside of financial language, those words are positive and negative. Let me give you an example, okay? Let's use the word homeowner. Homeowners positive and negative. When you hear a person with a mortgage call themselves a homeowner, that's a negative homeowner. Negative. When you hear the word homeowner from a person that has no mortgage, that's called a positive homeowner. See, they both use the word homeowner is interchanged between people with mortgages and people with no mortgages. This is the difference. If you have a mortgage, you're a negative homeowner. That's what you are, and you live on the negative side of the economy. It doesn't matter what you believe or how you feel about what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. All you got to do is open up the calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance, and hit equal. That's a large negative number. You are a negative homeowner. Do you understand me? Doesn't matter if you believe it or not. You can stay over there for the rest of your life. I don't really care. You guys are all important. Okay. I'm not trying to change. Let me make sure this is clear. I'm not trying to change anything of how this works. This shit is absolutely, you guys have no idea. This system is absolutely beautiful. It's like a Picasso painting. You have no clue. Sometimes I'll sit back and be like, fuck, somebody designed this shit, Linnell. Yeah, somebody designed it. Isn't it beautiful? Somebody sat down and designed this. This is bananas. You guys have no clue how bananas this is. When you guys talk about equity, equity's what? You talking about equity in a mortgage? Yeah. Equity, the word equity is positive and negative. If you believe you own equity in your mortgage house, open up the calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance and hit equal. That's a large negative number. That's your equity right there on the calculator. The calculator saying you are the equity in the house. Not you don't have money. It's you. That's what the calculator says. You know what? You know how real homeowners, positive homeowners calculate their equity? There's nothing to put in the calculator. Do you understand that, slaves? You have numbers to actually put in the calculator to calculate to show you have nothing. True homeowners don't have anything to put in the calculator because they own a house. Those are positive homeowners. All the words are you, but you don't know who to listen to when you're a debt slave and you've never owned yourself. You don't know that. You don't know words. You don't know who to listen to when they're using them. Like if somebody comes up to you and talks to you about investing in cryptocurrency because that's what they do, you turn to them and say, "Do you have student loan debt?" If they say yes, they're talking about negative cryptocurrency because you cannot invest in cryptocurrency if you while having student loan debt. That's 100% mathematically impossible. So they're talking about negative cryptocurrency. Do you understand? That's how it works. It doesn't matter what you believe or how you feel about it. Everything, my gift is mathematical fact. Okay. I'm just make sure it's clear that everybody here, I want you to hear it in my voice. I want you to feel the energy through the mic. My shit is fact. If you don't believe the calculator, that's your problem. And guess what? You have a psychological problem. Because let me give you an example how what it sounds like if you believe you're a homeowner with a mortgage. That's like me coming to you saying, I believe 1 + 1 = 3, and I'm gonna stand on it. You would look at me like I'm bananas. You'd be like, "Well, you gonna stand on what?" No, I truly believe 1 + 1 = 3. I stand wholeheartedly. I feel that you're gonna be looking at me like something's wrong with you. That's what you wouldn't get mad. You wouldn't even know how to respond emotionally. You wouldn't even know how to do it. You'd be like, how do I even respond to a person like that? That's how it feels when I hear people believe they own equity in a mortgage house. That's like, wow, that's crazy. They really believe 1 + 1 = 3. That's bananas. And I want you guys to understand something. I did the same thing. Okay. I was a debt slave for many years and I didn't know it. I believed I owned houses with, I believe I bought a couple of houses with mortgages. I believe that. I believe, hey, if I stay there 3, 4 years and the house goes up in value, I got equity and all this stuff. I believed all that. Whose fault was it? Mine for not trusting the calculator. It wasn't the system's fault. It wasn't the bank's fault. It was my fault for not trusting the calculator. It's nobody else's fault. All I had to let me give you another example, okay? I kept my student loan debt for 10 years. 10 years. And I went to college for 3. Nobody came up to me and said, "Hey man, now, if you do go past 3 years of paying your student loan back, that means you're paying for college. You're paying for college longer than you actually went." Nobody really said something like that to me. It probably would have clicked in my brain. Hey, wait a minute, you're right. If I went to college for 3 years, why am I keeping it for 10? I'm paying for more than actually going to school. Yes, Linnell, does that sound smart? I had nobody to tell me that. And I was a network engineer, smart, brilliant. VMware, oh man, I love that shit. Loved it. Global remote servers and in the DMZ, all that stuff. But I didn't realize that I was keeping my student loans longer than actually going to college. That sounds retarded. Crazy. Something's obviously mathematically wrong with me. Obviously. All those years, but everybody I hung around, guess what? They all believed it was normal to keep student loans that long. That's why I didn't think it was a big deal. I fell in the line. Oh man, it's low interest rate. Why do you think it's low? So you won't think about them. That's why they keep them that low. What you guys don't understand, that low interest rate that you guys are ignoring, that's forever. That's forever money. Forever. Because the majority of you guys believe that you can go through life without paying them off and own stuff. That's all part. Hey, that's the people on the negative side. You don't have to be there. You know that? You don't have to be on the negative side now. Don't get me wrong. This is a hard pill to swallow, to wake up and realize words are positive and negative. You're gonna be mad at yourself for a little while. You're gonna go through a phase, but your mind is gonna have to be strong. Let me just put it this way, and I'm gonna be real with you, okay? In order to come here and understand SMD, your mind is going to have to be very strong. You're going to have to accept some things that you never knew that you were going to have to accept. A lot of things, actually. You're going to have a strong mind. You're going to have to. I'm just telling you that right now. The younger you are, the better. Okay, let's put it this way. But if you start now, I'm not saying that you can't do it. But if you wake up around 50, my age, I'm 53. You wake up, you're going to have a really strong mind. I'm going to just tell you that right now. You're going to, some people won't be able to do it. I stay in the debt matrix. That's all that you have no choice but to stay there. But if you come out, there is no going back. This is just like the movie. I'm just telling you guys, this is real. It's just like the movie, The Matrix. Once you come out, there is no going back. Once you see everything for what it really is, there's no going back. You're gonna be forced to figure out something to stay here. That's what you're gonna do. Your mind's gonna be working overtime to say, I gotta figure this shit out. I can't go back. Nope, you can't go back. Let me give you an example of what I mean going back. If you try to go back right now with SMD knowledge, you will realize that everybody you work with are there because they have to be there. Those are debt slaves. They got bills to pay. They have to accept the abuse from the job, from the boss, from the people, how they pay, no pay, and this and that, because they're debt slaves. They put themselves there. And if you're working in that, you have to hear them speak about that all day, every day. That's going to drive you bananas. Thinking they're taking out second mortgages, putting it down on another rental property and all this other stuff. And then they're talking about cash flow. You can't be around that anymore because none of that is true. Debt slaves can't retire. They can't contribute to 401ks of before or after Roth or the stock market. They can't do none of that. All of that is them. When you look at the stock market and you realize the stock market's debt slaves, you're going to be like, oh, that's the missing piece. Yeah, it's them. You know, all the squiggly lines on the graphs and going up and down and numbers running across, all that stuff. That's all debt slaves. It's all the same stuff. You don't really have to understand any of that. None of those numbers scrolled across the bottom and this and marking last year's properties and this. No, you don't. All you got to do is look at the debt slaves to see what they do. The debt slaves are the stock market. It's them. They're the 401ks, everything. You don't have to, you come to the positive side and you invest properly because you know it's them. You start seeing the obvious. It's just bananas. It's like, oh yeah, that's obviously happening. Like here, let me give you an example. And again, this is just my opinion. To me, it's obvious that Elon is about to take over the rideshare market. That's obvious to me. It's like, oh, he's putting all his pieces in place right now. Uber, Lyft, listen, those companies got to be shaking in their boots about what's about to happen. Elon's about to take a huge chunk of that piece. That is obvious. They and guess what? They can't do anything about it. Nothing. They can't do, you know how long it's going to take them to catch up with Elon? Oh, he's got everything in place. He's in control of all his cars. Working on autonomous software, you don't even need drivers. All the debt slaves financing Teslas, thinking they're going to be making free money. They're going to go out and finance more Teslas so they can participate in Elon's rideshare global. This is, hey, listen, it's global. His cars are already everywhere. He's already in control. It's just a flip of a switch of controlling one of the cars. It's just a flip of a switch. No drivers needed. All the cars will be nice to ride in because because nothing's worse than calling an Uber, right? And somebody pulls up in a piece of shit ass car, but you got to get somewhere, so you have no choice but to get in it. That is I ain't gonna lie, that is the absolute worst. That's happened to me a couple of times. I get in, clearly I don't know how this car passed to even come on the Uber or whatever, right? And then it's filled, you could clearly smell the person's a smoker, a chain smoker, and I ain't got no choice but to be in this raggedy car. That will never happen on his because he will make sure there's a minimum whatever on and they will be able to see if it meets specs or not automatically. And his cars are all over the world. And you can't even tell. Listen, this is the wonderful thing about it. You can't even tell if each when they're in the cars, you can't tell if it's a regular car or you can't tell if it's an Uber being used as an Uber. That's like the purpose of it. Like the driverless cars now, you can clearly see that's a driverless car because it's got spinning shit all over it and cameras on the top and the sides and this and that. It's maybe there's some people that want to ride in a rideshare car that don't want to be looked at everywhere they go. They just want to check it out, but they don't want people looking at them all. They can do that. That's obvious to me. That's obvious that he's about to do that. That the company is about to do that. That is clear. And then the deliveries will be allowed to go later and later, just like, hey, anything after 12, the car has to be driverless to cut down on, robberies or whatever, right? If there's no driver in it, they don't really have to worry about that. Now there could be later deliveries with driverless cars. Who's filling that gap? Tesla? Crazy, man. Uber and Lyft don't control their cars or their drivers. They can't keep up with everybody breaking the rules and coming up with a junky car. They can't. They can do their best, but they can't prevent it all. I don't even know how any of that is even verified. I have no clue. I know I'm sure that I've never read it, but I'm sure they have some kind of, hey, your car has to be this and that and this. There's only so much they can do remotely. Tesla won't have that problem at all. And their cars, and this is just what I see, and their cars can be running 24 hours a day, nonstop. No brakes needed, nothing. Just imagine that. You can't, if you're in that area, you cannot compete with that. There's no way. I don't know how you're going to be able to do. You know how long it's going to take? That's going to take a joint venture of a whole bunch of people with a lot of money to even catch up. Now, don't get me wrong. That is a clearly open market, clearly. Would you say, Nick, me and LJ were trying to figure out the origin of the conversation they had at the round table when they formulated the New World Order slave system. All right. I would love just to be, hold on for a second. I would love to be in the room of a place like that understand, like, once you understand, to be able to the privilege, listen, to the privilege of being able to sit in a room like that and just listen. You guys have no Man, you have no idea. I'm 53 years old. I would never be able to reach such a table, but I could only imagine. Hopefully, hopefully one of my great grandchildren will, maybe SMD family members' children will, grandchildren. One day, hopefully one of them will be at least sitting in the room, probably not at the table, but sitting at the in the room. Because there's very few people that understand that capitalism is psychological, positive, and negative. There's very, very few. And I want to keep reiterating this. I discovered this. I didn't design it. I discovered it. Okay. That's the big difference. I want to make sure everybody understands that. Make sure that is clear. Once you come to this side, the whole perspective is different. You see, you use all the words that when you hear financial words, listen, when you come to this side, the positive side, and then you hear people use financial words, I look at them. First I have to determine if they're a debt slave or not. If they're a debt slave using words like equity, the majority, put it this way, the majority of people you even hear use the word equity have a mortgage. Hey, I have equity. That means they have a mortgage. 9 times out of 10, they're saying I have a mortgage. And if they have a mortgage, that's 100% impossible to own equity in a mortgaged house. That's impossible. So that means they're talking about negative equity. The psychological part, they don't know that. They don't know that they're talking about negative equity, even if you showed them on a calculator, because that's how it's supposed to be. Those people are called the housing market. Refinancing, equity in a house, get out second mortgage, HELOC, blah, blah, blah. That's called the housing market. You come to the positive side, you sell them houses using mortgages. That's how you do it. And you'll be very, very good at it and successful, obviously. You'll be the best at the game. Just like no different than taxes. Say like you're a tax professional, right? But you don't know that capitalism is psychological, positive, negative. This is the first time you've ever heard this in your life. Nobody taught you this in school, bloggity, blah, 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 right? Because none of that's supposed to happen. That's why it's not in school. It's not supposed to be there. This is clear to me. Once you understand capitalism is psychological, positive, and negative, you come to the positive side, then you understand taxes, they are the taxes. But taxes is the backbone to the whole thing. That's why, like when I was a debt slave, I used to always say things like, man, somebody getting tax evasion gets just as much time as a murderer. And they'd be like, wow, that's crazy. Well, you got to stop it. Well, you got to ask yourself, why is that? Once you come to the positive side, you clearly see why that is. It's like, oh, that's why you get that kind of time for doing that. Oh, okay, I get it now. I totally understand. It's the backbone of everything. That's why when you see it, you're like, oh shit, okay, understood. I won't be doing any of that. Damn, if you get caught copying money, you get the same prison time as a murderer. And then you come to the positive side, you go like, then you say to yourself, oh, that's why that is. Okay. Won't be doing any of that. You know, as debt slaves, you can make up as much kind of cryptocurrency you want. Anybody can come up with one and say, "Hey, this is that," but you can't do that with paper money. You ever notice that? You're like, "Hey, let me just do the same thing with paper money and try to start your own." You're not doing any of that here. Why is that? Oh, okay, all right, whatever. Won't be doing any of that. When you come to the positive side of the economy and understand that Everything is debt slaves. Money, taxes, equity, interest, whatever you name it. It's you guys, debt slaves. So when you come across a person that's willing to trade prison time to make some extra bucks, that's a debt slave automatically right off the bat. Worthless pieces of paper for prison. You can go to the website and see how much they print $100 for it. I think it's like 17 cents. So say like this, say like you're in a city that says, hey, if you get caught selling cocaine or crack, you're going to get 10 years. And then you go out there and do $100 sale, and the law said, hey, if you do this here, this is what you get. And you decide, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway for $100, and you get busted. And then now you have to go to prison for 10 years. And then you go look up how much they printed a $100 bill for, and you find out it's 17 cents. You sold 10 years of your life for 17 cents. That's when you come to the positive side, that's clear. That's why you don't do stuff like that. Won't be doing any of that. 17 cents for 10 years of my life? Hell no. You don't get to stay there for free. Now you got to work there. Now you not only are you a psychological debt slave, now you are a physical debt slave. That's why you look at when you come to the positive side, you're like, oh no, won't be doing any of that. Nope. Won't be cheating on my taxes, because cheating on my taxes would be cheating on myself, especially like tax evasion. You have no chance, especially with like what you guys don't understand. If you're a debt slave, you don't know that you're a debt slave. And then on top of that, you start committing tax evasion. You guys might as well wear a fucking red spinning, blinking fireman's hat light on top of your head saying you're a debt slave. Saying, hey, I'm cheating. You might as well just put that on your head. Why? Because you've been a debt slave all your life. Debt slaves are the one that commit tax evasion because they don't know they're the taxes. That's why they hate them so much. Oh man, taxes are bad. They're so high here. Why? Because it's you. You're the taxes. If you complain about taxes, that means you don't understand how they work. That's why you're complaining about them. Let me tell you something. That's how you spot debt slaves, okay? This is just information for you in the debt matrix. If you hear somebody complaining about taxes, you know why they're complaining? Because they are the taxes. That's why. When you come to the positive side, guess what you have? Money. So the price of anything is irrelevant. Do you understand? Because it's you. It doesn't matter how much a house costs. It doesn't matter how much a car costs. It doesn't matter how much anything costs, because you always have money. We know the money is you, debt slaves. It's you. If you believe you're investing in your retirement plan when you have student loans older than your retirement plan, guess what? The retirement plan is you, debt slave, because you can't do that. My family is shaming me for not wanting a mortgage. They keep saying, yeah, but in 5 years, your mortgage payment is the same as, oh my God, that same old program. Debt slaves, you guys don't know that's a program. Rent is more than mortgage, and then if you wait too long, the rent's gonna catch up, and then you're gonna make you're gonna make your landlord rich. Do you guys? That's all a program, debt slaves. Okay, you guys say all the same shit. It's very irritating. Actually, it's irritating. You guys argue openly for the world to see your responses of some of the things I say. It's just bananas what you guys do. Bananas. Have no idea. This is all you're saying. I don't agree with math. Everybody in the world knows no one can break the laws of mathematics. Nobody. Nobody can break the laws of mathematics. Nobody. It doesn't matter how much money you have either. Nobody can break the laws of mathematics. It doesn't matter how rich you are. It doesn't matter. 1 + 1 = 2, no matter if you are a janitor or you were the owner of Tesla. 1 + 1 = 2. If somebody with millions of dollars came down on the mic and said, hey, man, I'm rich, so I believe 1 + 1 = 3, you'll be like, why are you telling us? What does rich have to do with what you're saying? Nothing. I'm worth trillions of dollars, and I believe 1 + 1 = 3. You'll just look at them like, okay, why are you telling us about you being a trillionaire? And what does that have to do with what you're saying? Nothing. So what the point is this: if you see somebody drive up in a Ferrari and they're making car payments, they're trying to make a point to make you think that they're rich or something. What does the Ferrari have to do with them financing? Not financing it. Nothing. That means they didn't have the money to buy it. That's what that means. So it doesn't matter if they're rolling up in a Ferrari. If they're making payments, the car becomes irrelevant instantly. If you have friends that you're jealous of because they have nicer cars than you, ask them, do they have car payments? If the answer is yes, that makes the car that they're driving irrelevant instantly. Instantly irrelevant. Doesn't matter. Why? Because they didn't have the money to buy it, hence payments. You can't have equity in a mortgaged house. I was thinking about doing some videos again about will motivation and maybe another one with Caleb Hammer, but I said to myself, I can't. Those are two different debt slaves telling other debt slaves their perspective of the financial world, their debt slave perspective. But I got you guys, what you guys got to understand is this: when you come to the positive side, people like Caleb Hammer, Will Motivation, those people are also important to the economy. Why? Because they create more debt slaves. Caleb Hammer has debt slaves believing that they can invest while having student loan debt. So they already look up to him as some kind of financial smart person, but you can't do that. You cannot invest while having student loan debt. That is 100% mathematically impossible, but he's teaching them that they can. So they're going to believe him. They're taking something that people already psychologically have given up on ever paying off, and now they're just using it to say, hey, even if you've given up basically what you have and you believe you can invest while having student loan debt, now you're going to believe it, especially a person, oh, he's got almost 500,000 subscribers. He must be smart. No, he's not. You can't invest with student loan debt. And here's Will Motivation. Hey, look at this Ferrari I financed. Why are you financing? Because he didn't have the money to buy it. That's why he's financing it. Not only is he financing, he's telling the whole entire world that he financed a Ferrari. And then he gives you a long explanation of why he did it. It doesn't, when you come to the positive side, it doesn't matter how you did it. You did it. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how, but the explanation of it is for debt slaves that want to finance the same thing. They don't know, they don't own nothing. When I see a finance Ferrari, you know what I think? That means he has a mortgage too, because he has a finance Ferrari. So that means he has a mortgage. And it just goes on and on. But debt slaves, all you guys see is a supercar, because that's what they call it, a supercar, whatever that means. They say the car is worth this much, that much money, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. As long as you guys believe it and do it, you're participating in the economy. That's cool. It doesn't matter. Congratulations, banks. Every around me keeps telling me that the prices of houses will go up. Therefore, it'd be harder to afford no matter how much I save got a house. What that is that's part of the program too. What they're telling you is their own fears. When you come to the positive side of the economy, you understand that there's only one way to buy a house, and that's cash. There is no other way to buy a house. Debt slaves don't know that, right? So when you hear a person say something like that, hey, you're not going to be able to afford it in the future, they are telling you their fears about their money. Because the only people that worry about more interest rates are people with that need mortgages. People with cash don't worry about interest rates because they're not financing a house. They're buying it in cash. So they don't have to contact the bank and ask the bank for permission and all this stuff. That you don't need any of that unless the person's buying it from the bank. When you come to the positive side of the economy and you buy a house in cash, the IRS already knows where you got the cash from well before you even buy the house. There is no question of where the money came from to buy the house. The IRS will have known that already for years ahead of time. So when the bank says, hey, LJ Young came and bought this house for $500,000 in cash, and then here's his social security number, the IRS they will already know where the money came from, how I earned it, bloggity blog, because that's how you must participate. There is no other way. All the pieces in the game have to know. You can't just come and do it your own way. This shit's been here for hundreds of years. What are you doing? What are you thinking? You think you 18 years old and it's been here for over 200 years? You think you're just gonna come in and change the game? You're not. I promise you that. You think you're gonna come in here lying and scamming the people and still? No, you're not coming. You're nowhere near here at all. But you're gonna participate on the negative side, though. Say like you are a person that likes to steal from people financially and financially steal, just trick people and take their money. You're going to participate in the system, even you are included, but you're going to be on the negative side forever. Do you understand? Because let me give an example. If you're one of these type of people, but what you can't see, I'm gonna just let you know. Well, your credit report is really an owner's ledger. That's what it really is. And if you are a seasoned financial scammer, I guarantee you guys all start with yourself first because you have no record when you're young. So you're going to be trying shit. Hey, they won't know this because I've never been in jail. Or I've never been in trouble with the police until the day you do. Now you're stamped. Now your possibilities of financial success are limited now because you're stamped, because you're a thief, a financial thief. But usually the first one is usually a slap on the wrist. You not think it's a big deal because you're young. At that age, you think you're going to be that age forever. That's the problem. You don't know what it means to get stamped at 18 and 19. You don't even know what that you don't know what that means to get financially stamped. That kind of stamp. Besides all the others. So you'll continue on doing what you're doing because you're still a kid. You're a legal adult, but you're still a kid mentally. And with no guidance, you just think like that. And then you start stacking them up. As you get older, then you use up your name. And then now you can't use your own name anymore because you already messed that up. And then you start using other resources and people's names outside of your own because you messed up yours. That's how it's easy to tell, because we can just go straight to your credit report and see if you are what we think you are. And your credit report is going to show exactly that. Because that's where you start with yourselves. You guys totally forget that. And when you're willing to risk the time in your life going to prison for money, you are a complete debt slave at that point, because you're trading something more valuable, the time in your life, for money. They can make a whole bunch of that, but you can never get more time, and you're trading for it. That's red flag number one. They tell you on the government website how much they print the shit for, and you still don't believe it. It's like, whose problem is that? Yours? Nobody's hiding anything from you. That's a trick. That fool he's swimming in debt. You guys don't even understand that. He is swimming in debt. Why you don't hear it? Because you guys believe you can buy things with you guys believe you can own property with no money of your own. You can't do that. You think you can buy things with no money? But you guys believe you do. So like it doesn't even have to be a house or a car. If you walk into Walmart and go grocery shopping, and then you pull out a credit card to pay for it, that's what you just did. You bought something with no money of your own. Now, what you did was walk away and you just got done financing groceries at whatever percentage rate your credit card is. You just financed some cookies. You financed that chicken you got under the heating lamps at your grocery store. You just financed that chicken. You think that slaves know that? They don't know that. Hey, listen, if that's you, you could take it one or two ways. You can be like, who is this guy and who do you think he is and this and that? Or you can stop and ask yourself, why am I financing food? You know, there's people out there that use buy now, pay later services to buy their food. Did you know that? If that's you, you live on the negative side of the economy. The buy now, pay later service places are having a fucking fiesta right now in the United States of America. No, all over the world. They're having hey, listen, and congratulations to them. I don't have anything negative to say about a company that I already know to never use. I know to never use those type of services ever. They're not doing anything to me because I know, but they're not looking for me. They're looking for you, for the people that use it. They're having a fiesta. No student loan. Listen, no student loan payments. Okay, that's number one. And you know what the biggest one right now? All the people that left regular jobs that are now doing 1099 jobs. I bet you like 95% of you guys are not even paying your taxes, guaranteed. They're gonna have to plug that hole. That's a big old hole. That's got to be plugged ASAP. But anyway, instead of you guys paying your taxes, guess where that money is going? Buy now, pay later services. They're getting all that bread, all of it. They got a limited window until the student loan repayments, the student loan payments start again, and the IRS changed something about these new 1099 jobs. They got to change something. They can't catch everybody. They got to have to plug that hole. That's bad. That's very bad. So these buy now, pay later services, they got a limited window. Their window is closing. Believe that window's closing. That's stopping. I just ordered some flowers for a coworker's wife who had surgery. It gave me the option to pay later for freaking flowers. Yes. I want you guys to really understand something. The reason why these big companies are partnering with the buy now, pay later businesses, because they have to. You think that's a choice? Apple, listen, Apple was the only smartest one out of the majority of companies because they created it within their own company. There's like, fuck that. I'm not giving you all this bread because even Apple has to do it. They know they have to do it, but they said we're gonna do it our way. Congratulations, Apple. Very, very smart move, Apple. Very smart. They're like, hey, we know we have to participate into this because you guys have no money to buy anything. So if we don't, nobody's going to be able to finance these phones because you guys are all maxed out, so they won't even make no phone sales, so they have to do that. Congratulations, Apple. Very smart move. They're like, we're keeping up. We're going to spend this money and we're going to get it right back, all in-house. Because these buy now, pay later companies, they're like, I read some of the deals that they have with the stores. They get a certain percentage of the money and they get a certain percentage of this and they get a reduction in price of that. I'm like, wow. Can you imagine being a big, huge company that has to agree to that? Can you imagine? Oh, that would be horrible. That would be absolutely horrible. Because without them, they wouldn't be making those sales because debt slaves have no money, none. Wow. Apple intelligent, but the buy now pay later can help benefit credit scores. Okay, L selector. One has nothing to do with the other. Nothing. If you use a buy now pay later services, that says we already know that you have a bad credit score because you're using it. See, this what people don't understand that use buy now pay later services. Only people with bad credit use it. If you're breaking up some shoes into multiple payments, that means you have bad credit. That's what that means. That means you have exhausted all of your other credit avenues, credit cards, whatever, you name it, and you have no other avenue but them. That's why they exist, because they know that. You don't know to look in the mirror and say, why am I breaking up a pair of shoes into payments? You obviously don't know that it's bad to make payments on a shirt. So they take advantage of you not knowing. That's business. There's nothing wrong with the buy now pay later services. Congratulations to them. They filled in a hole where the bank wasn't giving out more extensions on credit. They got to take advantage of that. Like the two things that I said are the payments and people not paying their taxes. That's like three big, huge, gigantic holes. When you think about it, they're probably actually keeping the economy, helping keeping the economy afloat, really. Because if you really think about it, right? The reason why they're attached to all the big businesses, because big businesses they have to work with them unless they get no sales. Why? Because you guys have no money to buy anything. Everybody, you know how many different people that sell on Amazon, they now rely on buy now pay. If you sell on Amazon and you see the majority, this is not a trick, okay? I don't want you guys don't think I can't see this. This is obvious. Obviously, the majority of your sales are coming from buy now pay later services. That is obvious. So now you understand that if you stop offering, guess what? You go out of business. That's how it works. That means they're running shit right now. That's what that means. There's some very smart people in the background saying, okay, we're gonna have to wrap that up. First time I saw a buy now, pay later service was back in 2007 in Latin America. They came to US to grow their business, and a whole new crop of folks sure is. This is the time. This shit is like a symphony. Everything's clear. You're like, oh, that's why they're so big. Okay. Oh, that's why buy now, pay later services all over the world, because capitalism is all over the world. Of course, duh. Duh. It doesn't matter if we go, like, if when you understand SMD, say like you lived here in the US and you decided to go to the UK. The UK is capitalist, so it's going to be the same way. Debt slaves are the basic model. Debt slaves are going to be the majority. The majority of them are going to believe they own houses with mortgages and this and that, the same thing. You go over there and you'll create a successful business without ever living there in your life, because you understand how capitalism is psychological, positive and negative. So it wouldn't matter. And then say like you come over there right out the gate, understanding this information. The people that know over in the UK too, because of course there's people there too that understand capitalism, psychological, positive, and negative. They're going to see you by the way you do things, because they know they know people don't do that. Like here, let me give an example. If ever I was to need a loan for something, right? The first thing the bank is going to do is run my personal credit report. That's the first thing they're going to do. When they run it, they're going to see that I have no owners. They're going to see that no company owns me, because there's going to be no company listed on there except a credit card. They're going to know right away that I obviously know, because they don't see a 53-year-old credit report that looks like that, a person who's 53. That's very rare. You won't see that. So it will tell them, oh, he obviously knows. That's what they'll tell them right off the bat. They know. Because if you walk into a bank, now let's reverse on the negative side. If you walk into the bank asking for a 30-year mortgage while having student loan debts on your credit report for 20, they know you don't know. Because they know if you haven't paid off a student loan debt in 20 years, you're not paying off a house in 30. So they're going to approve you for the loan, probably give you a subprime mortgage, because you really don't know. You walk away believing you're a homeowner and you're not. They know, one look at your credit report, they're gonna be like, oh, this person obviously doesn't know. Credit card debt, 20-year-old student loan debt, finance phones from the company for the whole family. Then you're gonna be financially abused at that point. They're gonna know obviously that you don't know, because you're owned. All the businesses listed on your credit report says they all own a piece of you. That would be the difference. You obviously don't know. It's like a symphony, man. These words, like when you when you hear when you come to the positive side and you hear anything financial, you guys have no idea what you hear on the positive side. Like 99% of like financial information you see on videos and shit, that's from the negative side of the economy. You guys don't even know that, but that's not a bad thing though, because it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be there to confuse you, because the majority must be debt slaves for it to work. I get it, totally understand it. I ain't here to change nothing. I'm in awe. That's what I am. That's what I am in. I am in awe. Every now and then I'll be looking in the mirror and I'll be saying I would say to myself, somebody designed this. Somebody put this together. Yeah, somebody put it together. Sure did. For sure. That's without a doubt. That's a fact. Somebody somebody came up with psychological debt slaves. That is just psychological chains. Chains, but they can't chains that they have on, but they can't even see them. Don't even know that they're putting them on themselves. Can you met somebody, man, listen, somebody design that. A person that gets a new job and then a month or two later roll up in a brand new car, you guys have no idea what you're telling your employer. You're going to be here at least for the next 84 months to pay for that car. You're going to be a team player. What team player means work for free. You're bananas if you're doing that. Give away the time in your life for free, something that you can't get back because you're going to do it for free. No, if you're going to do it for free, you do it voluntarily, not by what somebody outside of you tells you. Because I'm not saying when you become rich, volunteer your time. That's a choice at that point. But when you're trying to be a team player to kiss somebody's ass or something, you're giving away your time of your life for free. People on the positive side don't do that. I don't care what your friends say, what the TV says. You got to do this. You got to give up your time for free. If you ever, no, you don't. No, you don't. That is a choice. Cosmic says, LJ, you know there are more people private lending for mortgages where you pay them like 12 to 14%. Wow. Congratulations to people doing private mortgages. Congratulations to you. People would say, oh, that's mean. No, it's not. What do you mean it's mean? Could a person with given private mortgages at 12% to 14% sell that to me? No, I'll just tell them no. I would tell them, you got the wrong person. Oh, you think I would say, like, if somebody approached me and said that to me, hey man, you a private mortgage, this is 14%. I would say, do you got me mistaken for a debt slave or something? Because you're saying some things that are just like they're insulting me. So I just say no. But if you want it so bad with bad credit, and you don't really understand that, because your credit report, listen, people that lend mortgages on that percentage rate, they know the people that they're about to deal with. People that don't know, that's high risk. The higher the percentage rate means the higher the risk. Like, let me give another example, and then I'll come back to this. On that recent Will motivation video where he's doing some kind of video about a black Ferrari uh uh that he just financed, right? He tells you the percentage rate that they're charging him. It was like 24%. This means the bank is telling you that Will motivation is high risk. That's why the 24% interest rate on a finance car. Are you crazy? And he tells the whole world what it is. He says, hey, I'm being charged 24%. That should tell you that the bank says Will motivation is high risk. He obviously doesn't know that you're not supposed to tell people, let alone finance. You're not supposed to tell somebody that you finance a supercar, period. But then on top of that, tell them the interest rate. You know what that says? I have no money, period. I just look like I do. But you guys don't understand, on the flip side, that's important because now all the people that follow him and believe that, they will attempt to do the same thing as him. And then if they get it, they will deem themselves successful for financing a car, a high price supercar. Like that's a goal or something, to get in that much debt. To do what? What are you going to do when you get there? Nothing but be in debt? Congratulations to the people that charge a high percentage rate on a mortgage. Congratulations to them. Because this is what they know. This is what this is what you guys cannot see when you're a debt slave, for people that do mortgages, private mortgages like that at that percentage rate. They know people that have no money are the only people that are going to do that. People with bad credit, old collections, and years of old student loan debt. They know it's you. So the high probability, listen, they finance it at a private mortgage. They know you're never going to pay it off, because that's why you're doing it in the first place. You're never going to pay it off. So they're going to make all that money in that house. They probably got some kind of contract where the mortgage payment starts to balloon or something, some crazy stupid shit. And then it's gonna get so high to where, guess what? You won't be able to afford it no more. Kick you out, restart the process. That's called business. There's nothing wrong with that. Like those arm mortgages. First of all, only debt slave would ever sign up for a mortgage like that. A complete unconscious debt slave that the payment raises. So they already know that you can't afford the house in the first place because you're financing it. So of course you can't afford it. And if they keep ballooning the price, let you stay in there for the first 3-4 years before it balloons up or whatever, which it gives it enough time to appraise. So say, like they say, hey, your payment's going to be this for the first 4 or 5 years. And then after year 6, it's going to balloon up to this. That gives them plenty of time for their house to appraise for more and more money. You're paying for the whole thing. And then once it balloons, guess what? You're not going to be able to afford the payment. You get kicked out. The house now sells for the new appraised price. Get another debt slave in and repeat the process. Congratulations to them. You guys don't know what you're signing because you're in debt. Your bad, listen, your bad credit says this. You have no money. You will have no money for a lawyer to look over the house paperwork, because you have no money to do anything, inspections, things that need to be required. They already know you have no money. Yeah, you want to finance the down. They probably offer, you want us to finance your down payment and all this. Who knows what they do to you guys? You guys will be in it, paying them while the house is going up. Remember, they're going to own the house the whole entire time. So the house is going up in value over the time that you're in it. Then you won't be able to afford it once it balloons, and then they just repeat the process. You'll own that house forever. That's forever money, because debt slaves have no money to buy anything. The banks already do it. So imagine if you did the same thing as the banks. They're not stopping you from anything. There's plenty for everybody. Think about it. The bank owns the house the whole entire time. The debt slaves pay for the taxes, their insurance, the upkeep, the yard work, everything. They do everything and own nothing. All you have to do is sit back and collect the money. That's all the bank does, is collect the payments. You do the same thing. Say like you got into the housing business or whatever, right? And you actually owned your properties free and clear. Now you be just like the bank. With this knowledge, you understand that the bank will never own the house. I mean, the debt slave will never own the house, but that's why they need a mortgage. They will never own it, ever. It doesn't matter what they believe, what they're doing, as long as they're paying the whole time, you own it. You can do the business how, as long as what you're doing is legal, is a legal business with the how you do written whatever, right? That's as long as it's legal, I don't care. As long as you don't abuse. I'm against people abusing debt slaves. I'm against that. Just straight up abuse. I'm against that because you don't need to abuse debt slaves. You don't need to abuse them. They're already abusing themselves. So imagine you own like say like 2 houses free and clear, knowing that you will always own it because they need mortgages. Somebody comes along with the cash, you're like, nope. Because if somebody comes along and has cash, that means they already know because they have the money to actually buy the house. That means they know. So if you want to stay in business, you tell them no. They already know. It's like debt slaves, you guys, they already can see. It's public information to see if you're in trouble with a house. The banks already know who are all the people that are in financial trouble because they have mortgages. So the bank knows everything about them. So they already know which areas are in trouble, not paying, which financial group is race is not paying their bills on time because you guys are all part of it. They don't have to take any surveys and all this other stuff. They already know. When you guys drive down a street, right? And you say like you drive down a street of nice houses, beautiful houses. You don't know who's in trouble in those houses. You can't see that. You're just going by the house and the yard and what it looks like and the zip code that they're in. That don't mean anything. You don't know. There's people in nice neighborhoods that are behind on their payments. They're just using credit cards to mask the illusion. Here I go. I'm gonna drop the link. There we go. There's the link. What's up, Gabriel? Yes, they want. They want the money from the high. It's a cosmic. It's absolutely brilliant. Congratulations to them. I don't care. You know what? I don't care if they charge high interest rates. If what they're doing is legal, I don't care, man. Congratulations to them taking advantage of this time. Now, with what I do, I'ma always do business. When SMD blows up, I'm doing business, but everybody will know what I do. I won't be getting into business charging people 29% interest rate because I just couldn't do that. But don't get it confused of the rates I'll be charging for my services. They will be high, and people like, oh, he's gouging people. No, I'm not. People know the value of what I do. The people that know what I do, they pay accordingly because they know what I do. They know people don't know that capitalism is psychological, positive, and negative. That's a mathematical fact. Like if people don't, if you're one of the person that come across here and you don't believe what I'm saying, what you're saying is that you don't believe in math. That means you don't trust the calculator. So that means you have a psychological problem if you don't believe 1 + 1 = 2. Because that's what you're disagreeing with. You're like, I don't believe 1 + 1 = 2. That's what you're saying. If you believe you own equity in your mortgaged house, you don't believe 1 + 1 = 2. Like, let me simplify something so debt slaves, you guys can really get it. When I look on the internet, there are so many videos that tell you they so-called tell you how to be ready to prepare to buy a house. This is what you do. You got to save this and do that and this and that. This is all you got to do. Like, you're trying to figure out what house is in my price range. What the documents do I have to get together? You guys make it so complicated. This is all you got to do. This is how you can tell if you're ready to buy a house or if it's in your price range. Go to the house that you believe is in your price range. Go look at the for sale sign and see how much the house is selling for, right? So say like this house is selling for, let's say 400,000. Let's say 400,000, right? All you got to do as you're looking at the sign, where you're looking at the for sale sign with the price on it, open up your phone and go to your bank app, log into your account and see if you have $400,000 there. If you don't see $400,000, that means you can't buy the house, and then you just drive away. You don't have to do all that stuff that people in videos tell you have to do. You just log in and say, am I ready for a house? You log in. Do I have 400,000? Nope, I'm not ready. Then you drive away. Now, if you're listening to this, and I'm going to say something I know that you guys are saying, you guys can look at this in many ways. You're probably saying, who has the money to buy a house? Not everybody has money like that. That's a program. You're running the program. When you say stuff like that, you're just telling everybody around you that you don't have the money for that. What's up, Arlene? Hello.
Hi, good morning, LJ and SMD. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Few things. I'm actually running around doing a few things, but I'm curious. What made you jump on today, LJ?
I don't know. Maybe just the acceptance of SMD being what it is. I don't know. I can't really describe it. I'm just trying to be what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Without worrying about what people think or say, just be it. I think that's what I was on today for.
Yeah. What it is for me, I'm actually working today, an extra day. We have to do these extra days. I came in today to cover. But today, last year, was Friday the 13th. And you did a video last year, and I jumped on. So I guess in that time frame, I was kind of new to getting on the videos, talking with you. And so that particular video that day last year, Friday the 13th, I remember having whatever great conversation we had. And later on that night, I was looking at myself on the video, and I had
like you always do.
I do. But what's so, I don't want to say triggering, I don't want to use that word, but what's significant to me is the fact that later on that evening, I was looking at the video, then I had got a call that my mom passed away. Right. So it's just kind of weird, strange to see you again a year later. Right. And the fact that I've been part of this SMD, getting out of debt, for over a year. And the reality for me is, like, I haven't got tired of listening to the message. So when I popped on this morning, so you was on, I clicked and said hi to everybody, and I started to write what a difference a year make. And it is what a difference a year make. Like, where I'm at in my life, and just all the progress that I'm doing, and everyone else at SMD as well. But it's just the fact that, like, here you are giving different examples of different situations, different scenarios, and I'm not tired of the message. So, like, when you keep saying it's like a symphony, it's kind of like I guess in my own way, I've been waiting to hear, waiting to connect, and I'm 5 months into this whole mortgage with no more escrow and stuff. And today's Friday. So the other day, the taxes was due, which I had already paid in advance. And today's Friday. I think Monday, the money's going to come out of my account for my insurance. So it's just a notion that being part of SMD and the whole idea of paying off this mortgage and looking at ways to do it quicker, what a difference these last 5 months of payments have been. Like, when I give extra, it's actually going to the freaking mortgage versus being wasted with all the escrow, what the escrow is doing. So it's just very interesting to me and exciting to see the difference when I make these monthly mortgage payments, and I'm giving full credit to SMD. What is supposed to? Yeah, I give full credit to SMD to what's happening with me right now. So it's kind of cool. I just wanted to come and say hi.
Well, and it's beautiful because the wonderful thing about it for you,
Yep.
you're able to, you are the only one that knows in your mind where you were at a
Yeah.
year ago. And now you know where you're at today. So you can actually see
Yes.
your growth. You
Yes.
can see it, right? It's not a far distance away to say, I barely remember that. You get to see your growth. So now you know how far you've come, right? That's what my videos do for me. When I go back and watch my old videos, I'd be like, oh, damn, I didn't know that. That's why I was talking like that. And this, and now to where I'm at today. But you get to see it soon. At first,
Yes.
I get to actually point it out to you.
Yeah.
How you do it, how you can do it, right? You have to explain that to a person, but now you can actually see it. So now you know where you're at today. You kind of can have an idea of what you're going to be feeling like when you send off that last payment to the mortgage. Oh man, nobody ain't gonna be able to tell you shit. You're probably gonna have a walk into the work with a whole different attitude. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You know?
Well, what's funny is, without getting into too much details, like I can't wait to be done to actually share the numbers, like to actually show the numbers, how it all calculated. Speaking of numbers, the other day in the Discord, I took a picture of a book I had found, and it was just so funny. A book I had bought about debt, and I had said it was interesting how I've been in this mindset of trying to get out of debt for so long, and nothing really clicked. And like you said, it was the programming. It's the programming
It's the programming, exactly.
Yes.
And that's what makes you now when you get further out here, because you got to remember, you're going to be, to me, this is how I look at it, okay? You will actually be at a different, I'm gonna say, level, because you will own where you live, right? So that's a whole different experience, right?
Yeah.
Something that 99% of people that will never experience. Like, so I'm gonna have to be able to, I'm excited to listen to you to see what's gonna happen the day that happens. What's changing for you? What do you see, and how do you feel? Because you're gonna still have your job, right? At that particular time. I mean, that's the plan.
I don't know. Things are shifting every day, LJ. But
okay, let's say like this. Let's say like you
Mm-hmm.
will still have it at that time. I want to know what's gonna be your perspective at that moment when you go to work and when you walk in and you talk to people. I'm curious about that.
Well, it's funny because you and I have talked about this before a few times already, and I know for a fact my verbiage has shifted as I keep saying stuff
Right.
out
loud
to people. And I'm telling you, one of my supervisors will fight with me like, Arlene, you gotta stay to 20, you gotta get to 20, you gotta like, and I'm like, it's just this goddamn house that's keeping me here.
Exactly. That's why I said, we talked about it. You're like, oh, LJ, I'm gonna do it in this. I said, okay, whatever. Whatever you say, Arlene, whatever.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny because even like YouTube, like I don't really look at TV, you look at YouTube, and it's this commercial that keep coming on, Red Rover, about a moving company. And I'm like, are you giving me signs? You know, like the house.
Because you just said it. You just told me. You said, this house is keeping me here. You just told me the answer. I don't know if you heard yourself.
No, I know. I know. I've been saying it.
Okay. Because you keep saying, no, Linnell, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And okay, Arlene, whatever. Even though you're telling me today. Okay.
Well, again, back to a difference a year make.
Yes.
What a difference a year make. And I mean, I was part of SMD before last year this time. It's just the notion that as I watched the videos and started wanting to jump up and join the conversation, get my face out there and kind of give clues of who I am and what I do.
Honestly, when I watch you now, you look way more comfortable now. I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but if you go back and look at your first videos and to how you are today, you're just like, yeah, I'm doing this and I'm going to do that because that's just what it is. So it's not really nothing to be. I don't know, because people, we worry about saying the wrong thing or whatever. But when you get to this level and when you pay that house off, if you think when you pay that house off, your level's going to go to another one, and you're going to really, and then when you start talking about doing the videos, your new videos are going to be way different because you're going to be free to do and talk the way you want to talk. So they're going to be like, I feel her energy, man. She ain't tricking us. She's saying the same thing repeatedly, and then your shit's gonna blow up. You watch.
On Sunday you had a video, and I had just finished a marathon, right?
Yeah.
And I typed in real quick, and I was doing what I was doing. But it was so interesting where you've been given information for the longest time. So you talk about the brain, how it's the most important organ of your body. And my goodness, Sunday, I was a testament to myself about the power of the brain, where 3 years ago I was very active and I was doing all kind of races and I was fit, all kind of fitness. And in January, when I popped up in the new year and talked about the plans with the escrow, when I look at that video, I see how round and fat my face was, right?
Okay.
Right? And I was like, Arlene, you got to get some, it's me, right? I know myself. I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of.
Right.
So the reality is, life is life and things are things and stupid COVID and whatever. But it's been 3 years. I can't keep using that excuse. And so I signed up for this half marathon. And no, I didn't train. I wasn't even ready, but I said, I know I could freaking do it. I know I could do it. And I remember a friend of mine was like, why would you do that to yourself? Because I want to. I needed to push myself. To push myself out of my own comfort.
Right.
And I did it. And I remember when the race started, the first mile into it, I was like, oh, but I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I did. And I remember the biggest challenge was fighting with myself, because the critical mind, the critical thought, the reflecting of what I used to be able to do, all these injuries I have. And I had a goal to finish under 4 hours, where in the past I've done the race in 2.5, right? But my goal was to finish in under 4. And I finished at 3 hours and 59 minutes and 53 seconds.
That still counts.
I met my goal. That's right.
That still counts. You met
my goal. But I tell you, it was so freeing. But I needed to do that for myself. And I did. So
congratulations. You did it. Because this is what people don't really understand, Arlene, and we forget about our brain, because we don't see it, right? So we just think we don't need no sleep, we don't need to eat right, whatever. What about the brain? But now that we're free, the stress is gone, right? You sleep better. You get more sleep. Not only do you get good sleep, you get more sleep. And that's the thing that was, because like I always tell people earlier, when I first quit my job, I slept straight for like 3 months straight, just sleeping. I thought I was lazy. I felt like a lazy bum. My life is not going anywhere. That was just my brain saying, thank you. Now let me catch up. Let me just keep going. Because after a while, one day it just stopped. One day was like, it was almost like, okay, that's enough. No more sleeping in. We're getting up early. We're making some things happen. That's how it felt. And that's exactly what happened. That's why I'm on the mic talking to you guys today. Because I just basically believe in yourself. That's what it really is. You just, what boils down to it, believe in yourself. You can do anything. You about to pay off your house. That's crazy. You about to own where you live. You about to never, ever have rent or mortgage again for the rest of your life. That's just congratulations, man. Woo, I can't wait to feel that.
It's exciting and it's humbling, and it's a lot to take in from who I am and my life and where I've come from and the different experiences and disappointments. And here I am tomorrow is a year from when my mom passed away. But just the idea of how she passed away and just our life, just a lot. It's just been quite the year. It's been quite the year, And
you still made it. Look, and you still made it. Look where you at. You still got all that stuff in there. 100%. And you still made it. Now you're here. And there's about to be more better for you happening now. It's just you can see it.
Yeah, no, like I've said to you, we all have a story to tell.
Yeah.
My story is very unique.
Yeah.
So many perspectives.
Well, you believe it is, but a lot of people's just like worse, better. It's many things, but I'm learning now is that all of that is just tests. It's just, can you get through it? Can you get through it? And you obviously can. Look where you're at.
As we all can.
We all can, exactly.
If you put your mind to it,
But just think about this though. Imagine, like, people are trying to do it, but with all the stuff that we don't have anymore in our life. They don't know that they can free their brain up to have more power or whatever you need to get through what you need to get through.
Yeah.
If you remove stress and debt, now your brain is stronger to concentrate on the positive things that you want to make it happen.
Yeah. It's all good. But
Mhm.
there was something else I wanted to say, but now it escapes me, and I got to go anyway. So I appreciate.
Okay.
Thank you for dropping the link. Thank you for letting me come up, and I'll say thank you for being a very significant production in my life.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm excited to see what you're gonna do with it. I'm more excited about that. I want to see what you're gonna do with it.
Yeah, yeah, and keep up. Keep up. Keep doing what you're doing, LJ.
I love what I do. I'm gonna do this until my last days. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna, because it's forever. I mean, you got to know it's forever. So this is what I'm gonna die doing.
Yeah. All good. Well, listen. Thank you so much, and you guys have a good day. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank
Bye.
you. I love it, man. I love it. I love what I do. Not many people can say that. This is it. This is my purpose, to help people participate. Because when you come to the positive side of capitalism, to come to see how it works, the next thing you're gonna do is work on yourself physically. It's just like it's like an automatic. I don't really know how to explain that part. It is really like an automatic. You are going to, once you free yourself from debt, right? And then you're gonna see, oh, this is how it really works. And then the next thing you're gonna do is work on yourself physically and mentally. That is automatic. It's crazy. In my journey, on the psychological part, is that there's certain fears, FEARS, false evidence appearing real psychologically. There were certain fears in my life that I wasn't facing. Now, these fears can be many things, okay? But it counts on what type of fear it is to you. So I thought ignoring it would go away. But no matter what, it always came back, kept coming back. That means I needed to face it. And that's what I'm doing. Then you look, and because I always tell the people that follow me, turn and face your fears. But I had one in my life that I wasn't. So I said, I can't tell my people that. And I got one that I'm pretending that's not there. So I turn around, look. Why are you here? If you turn to it, the fear will tell you why it's there. It'll answer your question. This is why I keep coming back. Here, let me show you. Because think about the fears that you may have already overcome in your past, that always bothered you and bothered you and bothered you until you finally took care of it. Now it's gone. Say like you've been in disagreement with a family member for years over something that was said. Then one day, after 5, 6 years, you guys get together with because by this time, there's really no anger or whatever involved in what was firing it up. And then you guys sit down and talk with no feelings involved. And then you guys hear the true answer from both sides. You're going to be like, what? Instantly, it's gone at that moment. Instantly. Never thought about it again. Probably laughed about later on, years down the line. That's how it is. Some are real scary until you face it and take care of it. You're like, it wasn't that scary. Nope, it is at first, because that's why you're running. Put it this way: the quicker you face your fears, the quicker your journey is going to be. The progression of your journey. That's what I've noticed. The quicker you face the fears, the quicker the progression. Now, things happen the way I truly believe certain things happen the way they're supposed to be happening. I'm not saying I was supposed to learn faster or anything, but all I know is where I'm at today is where I'm supposed to be. I do know that for a fact. Where I'm at today, physically, psychologically, is where I'm supposed to be. Because if not, I would have all the available resources to not be. Because when you're on the correct path of your journey, there is absolutely no resistance. None. Absolutely none. I've experienced that before. Some things that I thought would be absolutely impossible, I did it with the simplest of ease. No resistance at all. Everything connected to make what I thought was once impossible. It made it happen. And when I say I made it happen, I didn't make anything. It just happened. Some of it relied on how the people that I worked with in the past, how I treated people, all of that connected to where I'm at today. Because had I not, along my journey, had I not been nice, friendly with the people I used to work with at my old job, where I'm at today wouldn't have been able to happen without doing what I did back then. So this is why I say when it connects without resistance, that's why it connects. That's why it happened the way it happened. It connected without resistance because of how I treated people in the past. You could work at a job for 15 years. By the time you quit, you probably will be only friends with maybe one or two of the people that you work with at that job. Maybe. You might have been so-called friends with a lot of people at this particular job. But then after all those years, you're only in contact with one, maybe two. The people that I've learned, it's like maybe three, maybe. But they were the key people. What's up, Cosmic? I can't
Hello,
hear you if you
LJ.
talk.
Can you hear
Oh,
me
there you
okay?
go. Now I can. How you doing?
Oh, can you hear me now?
I
I'm
can.
good. You know, I'm understanding what a debt slave feels like. Um, what I did, LJ, even though it's business debt, right? So, you know, I bought a house with cash and
Okay.
I
Yep.
rehabbed it and rented. So I'm
Mhm.
literally paying off the debt and it'll be zeroed out this fall, right?
Right.
But it's
Mhm.
giving me an indication of like it's like I feel privileged that I'm just getting a short taste and clearing out business that is as fast as I can.
Wow.
But
Okay.
it's giving me perspectives of what your teachings have been saying as it relates to debt slaves. It's not fun to say the least,
Right.
right? But at
Right.
least I had like a short visit. But I do want to give people a warning because at least in my community, I'm seeing financial stress lead to really bad decisions,
Mm.
right? So I know
Mm.
that
Mhm.
you teach people to be cognizant of who you're with, right?
Correct.
And here in my local circle, some of my male business acquaintances are just getting into messy situations
Mm.
because of those bad decisions. So I always
Mm. Mm.
think of you, LJ, and I think I sent them your dating minus debt video to get them in
Uh,
that mindset, right?
yeah.
One of my
Yep.
business partners lost his right leg,
Oh,
literally lost his right leg dealing with the wrong person. Yeah.
oh, shoot. Oh
She
my
ended up
goodness.
hitting him with the SUV. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like she literally hit him with the SUV, right?
Crushed his leg. That's
Well, they couldn't save his leg. So when I visited him in the hospital, he was like, I made the wrong decision. I should have left her alone. So I just think about your teachings as I'm interacting now,
right.
within my circle. So I just
Right.
wanted to say thank you for that. And maybe
Mm,
when he's ready, maybe he'll listen to it so he can learn from this
mm,
experience going forward. So be
mhm,
careful out here. It's literally costing people parts of their bodies.
mm. Yeah. Yeah, that is true.
So that's
Mm.
pretty much it. I just wanted to call in and say hello. But I will tell you this: I want to do a debt-free screen when I clear out this business debt this
hell
this
yeah.
fall in October.
I want to be
So
there to do it. Oh, I want to hear that,
excited.
because I'll probably never hear it again.
Well,
So I'll definitely want to hear one.
We'll stay tuned. Hope, crossing fingers. I tell people now, I'm like Wycliffe, I'm going to November. Is what I tell people, because it's such a it's a doable goal, and it's what is that, 5 months? That's
Well,
worth
I already
the
know if you're saying it's already happened. Basically, you're just physically catching up. It's already there mentally, so I already know what's going to happen. I want to just be there to hear that scream.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I do take that, before I jump into it, I gotta have like 3 different exits, right? If I can't exit out of it, I don't want to get into it.
Exactly.
So I've had it laid out, and I knew it was a short-term sacrifice. I'm just like, dog, this is not fun. I understand more walking this journey, right? But I think it's a process we all have to go through to get to the other side, right? Correct. So guys, be careful out here and have a good weekend. I'm about to run errands. So have a good day, LJ.
Thank you, Cosmic. Yeah, see, there's different levels to this, right? What she's trying to explain to people that really don't understand, she's not going to have any personal debt or business debt. There are not many people in business that ever achieve that. Now, there's different levels of achieve. You know what I'm saying? It counts on the type of money you bring in. I'm not saying, hey, Amazon could buy its buildings in cash, and they just know that's different. Okay, that's very different. I'm just talking about certain levels. There are not many people that not only own themselves, they own, say like she had 4 rental properties, right? And she owned them all. You're not going to run into too many people that own themselves and their property. Not saying that, hey, don't take out a mortgage against it, or a loan against the house and open up another house. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying something. I'm just using this example. If she owned 4 houses, she owned them all. That means she owns herself and her business, her houses. Not many people can do that can achieve that. They'll come up with all these other excuses. Oh man, I'm gonna have my money work for me and all this other stuff. It works for you if you own the house. It does, because you're not giving away part of the money. Because this is all a person has to do. You know how debt slaves calculate their cash flow. Hey, I put a renter in here and they do this and that, and you gotta go along with them, because if my mortgage is $2,000, I put a renter in there for $5,000, I'm cash flowing $3,000, and they don't really know you can't do that. So you got to just roll with it. Okay, this is all you say. So I'm cash flowing $3,000 when they say something like that, right? You say, well, how much are you paying monthly to the bank? Right? You get to keep that money. You get to keep it. You don't have to give it away. You get to keep it. You don't have to give the bank the $3,000. You get to keep the money for yourself. You don't, whatever you pay in the bank for the mortgage, you get to not pay that anymore. So if it's $2,000, now you get $5,000 instead of $3,000 a month. Forever. So if you happen to get a bad renter, it's not that really a big of a deal, because you already say like this, you own a property. Every now and then you're going to get a bad renter or something to do with their job circumstances. They might get a divorce, child support might increase. Any number of things that people have mortgages could happen to them. If you own the house and you got a renter, you will already have things in place for people that circumstances happen, people that don't want to pay. Soon as they not pay, you're not really stressed. Oh my God, because a lot of you guys have rental properties with mortgages on them that you guys depend on the income from it. Once you depend on it, that's it. Now, if you depend on the income, now you depend on the person that's putting in it. But when you own the house, that means you have money. So if you come across a renter that does that, I'm not paying you nothing, this and that, you just start the process. You call up your lawyer and says, oh, we got another one. And then the lawyer starts the process. You're not going to care if you don't have rent coming in for two months because you own a house and you've been owned it. You're not going to be like, hey, man, will you start paying the rent? Okay, I'll accept partial. You don't even talk to them. You're like, hey, you just send letters. We didn't receive your rent. If they ignore them, you just start the process. You don't even have to talk to the renter. They knew what they signed. They knew what they signed when they signed up, because you had it all laid out. You're like, hey, you need this much. If you don't do this, and this is going to happen. And you just tell them all inside of the lease agreement. So they have absolutely no defense, none, zero. 9 times out of 10, by looking at their credit report, you already know if they have no money or not. It doesn't matter if the person has good credit. You're going to look to see how many owners they have. Because a credit score is nothing more than if a person is good at paying back the bank's money on time or not good at paying back the money on time. Bad credit score means you don't pay the bank, you don't pay people back their money. Good credit score means you do pay back people their money. But you already know, if you understand SMD knowledge, and say like you own a house free and clear, and you look, and the renter's coming in and they have excellent credit. Once you're going to look on the inside of their credit report to see if they're a borderline bankruptcy. How close are they to not being able to pay this rent that they're trying to get into? You could just look at it. You could just look at their total debt and be like, you might have good credit, man, but you're very close to not making your payment. So nope, because the last thing is that stop getting paid is probably where they live, but you don't even want. Why bother with the hassle when you can already see it ahead of time? Once you run their personal credit report, you can see it. LJ, I just evicted a tenant and never talked to them. Had my property manager and lawyer handle that. Had a new tenant lined up by the time I cleaned it up. Exactly. You don't even have to deal with any of that. When you own your property and you have money, you already have everything in place. It's just a phone call away. Hey, if you miss 2 payments and this and that, this is going to be happening. Then once the second monthly payment is due and it doesn't come through, is you just pick up the phone. Hey, lawyer, this is day 61, 62, or whatever, right? 2 months, no rent. Start the process. Property manager handles all the notices, and you just pay people to do that. You don't want to get personal with renters. It's business. It's nothing personal. They think, hey, I'm F them. The manager ain't nothing. I'm not paying my rent. Oh yeah, we already knew you were going to do all that. We already knew. And then you do whatever you need to do, and then slap a collection on them that they owe, and then you just walk away, start the process again. Because at some point in their life, they're going to have to take care of it. At some point in their life. I mean, even though the debt might be sold for pennies on the dollar, whatever, that's just it's just expected. Okay, it's just part of business, right? But one day they're going to have to take care of that problem. That's where you leave. When people do that to you, say like it's not a big deal, but you leave them with a stamp. For all the other people that understand money, this person doesn't pay their bills. Look, if you rent to them, look what they did to this other renter. Be careful. They don't pay their bills. They still owe rent from 2-3 years ago that they haven't paid. That means they don't pay rent when they get evicted. Eviction process, all that stamped. All words. That's why all words are positive and negative when you talk about money. Houses, equity, appreciation, interest. Even the word interest is positive and negative. If you pay interest on your car loan, that's called negative interest. The bank receiving your interest on the car loan that they gave you, that's called positive interest, positive compound interest. They're receiving money from interest from the loan. That's called positive compound interest. You're paying it to the bank on a monthly basis. That's called negative compound interest. See that all words are positive and negative. It counts on who you're talking about. So if somebody comes to you and says, hey man, don't put this, don't put your money in a bank account. They're not really earning that much interest. You can put it in this account and it earns, 16.5%, whatever number they make up. You turn to them and say, do you got student loan debt? Do you have student loan debt? If they tell you yes, they're talking about negative compound interest. They're not earning anything that they're telling you about. You turn to them and say, you also have car payments too, right? Yeah, they're talking about negative compound interest. You can't do that. You can't compound interest positively while you're doing it negatively. You can't do that. Who told you that? I remember when I was a debt slave, that used to run through my mind too. I used to go, okay, I know they're telling me if I invest in over here and I'm earning 8% on my money if I invest over here, but my student loans, they're costing me 2%. So really, I'm not really getting 8%, if that's even possible. Say like I put it in here and I would get 8% every single time. Well, I'm not really getting 8% because 2% is going over to the bank for the student loan debt. So I'm getting 6%. I'm not really, in the bigger scheme of things, I'm not really getting anything. I'm just trying to do it in a way so debt slaves can really understand it. But you're not really getting anything because you have no money to invest in the first place because you have student loan debt. That's why it's 100% impossible to earn interest on anything if you're in debt. If your student loan debt is your oldest debt, and if it's older than your retirement plan, it's older than your mortgage, you're a debt slave. That's what that is. If you have student loan debt older than your FHA mortgage, you're not earning interest, equity, appreciation. You're not earning anything. Matter of fact, everybody with mortgages are not earning anything because they didn't have the money to buy it. You can't make money on something that you didn't have the money to buy. But if you come to the positive side of the economy, which I can bring you, you can sell them that dream. If they want to believe that they can do that with a mortgage, you sell it to them. If debt slaves want to believe they own rental property with mortgages, you sell it to them. Okay, whatever, you sell it to them. You and the bank know. That's the only two parties that really need to understand that. The bank understands that you understand, and then when the bank sees your credit report, they're going to clearly understand that you understand too. Say like you come into the bank and you have several homes, right? But you decide you're going to take a loan against one of them to buy another. Okay, just say like that. Nothing's wrong with that's business debt. Doesn't matter. Okay, but when you go in there and to apply for that loan, the bank is going to know that you know what you're doing. Because when you do it, you're going to have a lawyer who's also debt free looking over the paperwork before you give it to the bank. The bank knows that people don't hire lawyers to look over the mortgage paperwork. That doesn't happen because you guys have no money to buy the house in the first place. So you guys will never in a million years think about that. What's crazy is this. Say like you went to get a business that cost $300,000. You would do that. You would get a lawyer to look over the business paperwork because you've never done it before, so you'll do it. But if you go finance a $300,000 house, you won't, because you don't understand it's a business transaction. You guys say it all the time. I don't really understand all that paperwork. You guys do it. No, you guys do it on finance cars all the time. We'll sign a finance car deal without looking at the paperwork. It's worse for a mortgage. But they're going to know when you come to the table with a lawyer and they run your credit and you have no debt and you have you're using one of your paid off houses as collateral. They're going to know that, obviously. The bank knows they're going to temporarily own that house for a very short time. They're going to already know when it's going to be paid off, when the deal is going to be done, and then you're going to give the title back to me. They will know that you're participating in capitalism positively. You're going to know words used in the game of finance are positive and negative. It counts on who's using the word. See, that's what you guys don't know. Any word that's used in home ownership or finance of anything, it all counts on who's using the word. The person using the word determines if it's positive or negative. If you come across a person calling themselves a homeowner and you find out they have a mortgage, they're talking about negative homeowner. What's the psychological part? They don't know they're talking about being a negative homeowner because they're saying it out loud. Because if they're saying it, that obviously means they don't know that they're saying it because they're saying it. It counts on the person. If you're talking anything outside of chapter 7, if you're filing, put it this way, if you're filing chapter 13 bankruptcy, that means you're probably a debt slave. Chapter 7 bankruptcy is freedom. That's why it's there. A lot of people really don't understand the true meaning, the true purpose of chapter 7 bankruptcy. That's a get out of jail free card. That's what that is. Financial jail meaning. That's for people to say, "Oh shit, I've been doing it wrong." Yep, you've been doing it wrong. Here's your free card. I only give one of these cards every 10 years. You only get a chapter 7, I think, every 10 years. I believe it's 10 years. Chapter 7 frees you. People are like, "Oh man, that bankruptcy is going to be on your credit report for 10 years." Who cares? You're going to have cash the whole time. You're not even going to need credit. So who cares if it's there? People think you're going to have a hard time getting things. No, you're not. Now, if you file chapter 7, you're going to get the wrong people that's going to approach you at first. They're going to test to see if you learned anything by what? Offering you credit cards with high interest rates. See, like when you file chapter 7 bankruptcy, if you don't have the things that cannot be bankrupt, say like you have no things that on your credit report that cannot be bankrupt, and you file chapter 7 bankruptcy, now you're free. You're totally free. You got to just know that you're free. You don't understand that you are now in a place that millions of people don't know where they're supposed to be. They're all supposed to get to zero. But you're there now. So now at that particular point, you're going to get the debt slave loan sharks that's going to offer you, "Hey, don't you want to get your credit back up? Your credit's bad. You won't be able to buy anything." And then they're going to offer you credit offers at ridiculous interest rate. And you're going to think you're going to have to accept it because that's what you must do. No, you don't. You just ignore them. They're trying to suck you back into the negative side of the economy when you're already at zero. You just don't know there's a positive side. You don't know. All you got to do is turn around. You don't have to keep facing the negative side of the economy. All you got to do is turn around and see the positive side. They taught us all of this in elementary school, all of us. Zeros in the middle, positive numbers in green on the right, negative numbers in red on the left. You file Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you're at zero. Just think of the number chart. You're zero now. So if you decide to accept a credit card from a company with a high interest rate and you think, oh, it's high because I filed bankruptcy, you're going back into the negative side. That's what you're doing. If you accept that credit card, you accept it, you're going back into the negative. All you got to do is turn around and realize you're on the positive side now. You don't need credit for anything. You have money because your money's not leaving anywhere. It's dumb how Dave Ramsey won't tell people to file for bankruptcy. Well, okay, I understand why he doesn't. Okay, I want people to understand, tell people it can each situation is unique, because you don't want to run out and tell people to file bankruptcy because people will just do it. Say like somebody has $10,000 worth of debt and they go file Chapter 7 bankruptcy. We're not talking about people like that. You got $20,000 in debt and you just feel like you don't want to pay it, so you go file Chapter 7. We're not talking about people like that. I always try to use this rule. Since you can only file bankruptcy Chapter 7 every 10 years, I put it this way. If you have enough debt in your life that you don't believe you can pay off in 10 years of your life, I suggest go seeing a lawyer and see if you can qualify for bankruptcy Chapter 7. That's what I would say, because it's there. It's a legal thing, the tool. It's not nothing bad. You just make sure you got to do it right. So with that same rule, so say like you have $10,000 worth of debt. If you don't believe that you can pay off $10,000 worth of debt in 10 years, you have a problem that bankruptcy is not going to fix. If you have, say like your only debt was $10,000 worth of student loan debt, which you cannot bankrupt, you have to understand the only way that's going to disappear, you have to pay it off. There is no other way out of it at all. That's different. That's outside of bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is a ticket to set you free from consumer debt, but not that kind of a debt. Say like this. Say like you had $30,000 in student loan debt, okay? And you got in a financial situation to where the debt you have, consumer, you won't be able to pay it. There's not enough hours in the world that you could pay off that much debt in 10 years. If you can't pay off the amount of debt you have today in 10 years, I would say go see a lawyer, see if you can get Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And say like you were approved in the state you live, you were approved. Now, all of your resources that normally went to consumer debt, now you can be solely focused on paying off your student debt. But here you got a Chapter 7. A lot of you debt slaves won't do it. You know why? Because you feel that means I'll lose my house, I'll lose my car. Everybody will know I'm broke, blah, blah, blah. That's just a society program. I want you guys to understand that. Because the people that are making fun of you, those are the people making payments. Those are the people filing Chapter 13 bankruptcy, where you can file bankruptcy, but it doesn't look like you're filing bankruptcy. You know how much money they're making off of people filing Chapter 13 bankruptcy? They're just making boatloads of money off of you guys. You can refile bankruptcy Chapter 13 over and over and over again, but you can't do that with Chapter 7. Don't you think that's weird? because they know the majority of you guys, you don't want to show the people around you that you have no money, because if you lost your house, they would know, oh, wow, you lost your car gets repossessed, you're going to be embarrassed. Oh my God, everybody's going to know I'm broke. You guys just don't know. They're just as broke as you. It's just a matter of time. The next time, say like this, say like you have got a car repossessed, right? And you got someone in your life making fun about it to you. Like they're just making, oh, you got your car repossessed. Ask if they're making car payments. If they're making car payments, they're just like you. They're just like you. What's up, tinfoil hat?
Hey, good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
I can, at least. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just getting ready to start work. Miss B, she inspired me to come on because it's a little nerve-wracking the first time, you know?
Oh, wow. Okay. Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I'm just, it was just inspirational to hear her, you know, from a year ago, just to her journey. And I'm still on my journey, unfortunately, but I have some good things going for me. Like, I think
never say unfortunately again. Don't ever say that.
Okay.
Okay. Use your words wisely, because I want you to be just as successful. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to probably take about, like, I'm thinking around 2 years to get completely out of debt because I don't have a mortgage. The only thing really hurting me is the car payment and student loan. So I'm just focusing like a laser to take those out.
Okay, so those are your only two debts?
I have a little bit of credit card debt, but I could pay it off in a month or two. So I'm not worried about that right now. That's on the chopping block for my next paycheck.
Okay, so I mean, I suggest using follow the Dave Ramsey baby steps to get out of where you're at.
Okay.
I strongly suggest that's what I used. Strongly put them in order, because when you do those baby steps, a lot of people don't understand the psychological part of those baby steps, because you actually start to see the debts disappear, and that's part of instead of focusing on the interest rate, you actually see the debts disappear.
I understand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just a lot quieter now, like around my coworkers, around my family, around everybody, and just kind of taking it all in. And I just almost want to say, like, everything is a scam, you know? Like, I feel like everything is a con.
No, it's not, though. It feels like that because you're coming out of it. Okay.
Oh,
yeah. That's what you're feeling is all part of the. I want you don't know when you're in it, but it's all part of the process of because it's the process of the obvious. The obvious is becoming more obvious. That's why you're like, hey, this is a scam and this and that. Well, it's not. It's not a scam. It's just that you're just on the wrong side of it. That's all that is.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm just really excited to be a part of this. And, you know, thank you, LJ. I really appreciate everything you do. And just wow. I don't know what else to say.
How did you find me, by the way? I always be curious of how you guys come across SMD.
Sure. Well, I'll just share. I just turned 30.
You're really low now for some reason.
Is that better?
Okay, that's better. Yeah.
So I'm 34 years old. I would say about a year and a half ago, I just realized, like, you know, I'm getting older. I have to have better planning. And I've heard about Dave Ramsey, and he was the first one that I flocked to. And I just started searching other stuff. Like, I searched stuff about mortgages, and I found a bunch of people. You popped up on there. I found a few different people, but I just started really just typing in, like, YouTube, like, getting out of debt. You know, I did type debt slave actually in there too. So it's kind of funny. And, you know, what I do for work, I'm a public servant, and some of the stuff we do is we put, like, liens on people's houses for the department I work in. If they owe the city or the county money, we have to put a special assessment on their property taxes. And oftentimes we have to notify the mortgage company. And I just seeing, like, the way everything operates, I just didn't want to live how I was living, just paycheck to paycheck. And then I went to Dave Ramsey. I kind of branched off to you, and I don't know, it's kind of where I'm at.
Wow, that is I'm always curious because a lot of people, as you know now, a lot of people can't really hear my message, and that's how it's by design. So I feel like when a person comes across me and can hear it, that means they were already wondering what was going on. Like you couldn't put your finger on it. You're like, something's not right. Why am I
Yeah.
not where I'm supposed to be or something? You know, those, because that's what
Mhm.
happened to me. I was like, okay, I'm making six figures. I got the nice house, car.
Yep.
What's going on? I'm missing something. And this is the piece that I'm sharing with you guys today. Luckily, I'm here to actually answer the question for you with mathematical fact, right? I
Mhm.
didn't have no, I didn't even know what question to ask anybody. I even know the question, right?
Right.
And so now I'm here to be able to help you along your journey to answer the things that how you're feeling. Oh, this whole system's a scam. You know, you go through these feelings, and then you're like, okay. When I hear you talk like that, I'm like, okay, that's what I used to say. I did say that. I did do that. Blah blah blah.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, you really just put my journey on like warp speed, for lack of better words. I mean, I was
Teleportation on the Star Trek.
yeah,
Teleportation.
for real. I mean,
Yes.
because I was like questioning stuff. I was like, how can I donate money to charity, or how can I invest in 401k when I have debt? It didn't make sense to me. And then you explain it the way that you explain it on the higher level,
Right.
just really clears all the BS out of the picture. Like Dave is, I don't know, like you're just like a slap in the face to me. That's the only way I can describe it. Like I was nervous to come on because I didn't want, or to like get a counseling session, because it's like, not that I have anything to be nervous about, but
Right.
it's just like I would feel bad just like because I got in all this debt, and it's embarrassing, and you have to feel that embarrassment. And
You have
I
to
just wouldn't want
feel.
people,
Yes.
and I just
You have
wouldn't
to
want.
feel it. Good job. Good job.
So I don't know, like I don't know what I was expecting. Just like, oh yeah, you're an idiot, get out of debt. I don't know, but
No, that's part. Listen, that's part of the program. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. How you're feeling. Oh, I'm going to be embarrassed. And if you take a step back and turn around and say, wait a minute, everybody's in debt. Yeah, everybody is. It's nothing to be embarrassed about.
wow.
You're coming to terms like, wait a minute, something's wrong. I am in debt. And so you're saying it out loud, and it's happening. And voila, look, we're here on the mic talking about it. I'm just filling in your gaps and your questions. That's all I'm doing.
Well, thank you, LJ. I'm gonna head over to work. I'll have you in the background playing as much as I can.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you for getting up, and thank you for it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. See?
Nope, it's fine. All right.
All right. Thank you, sir. I love it, man. I know a lot of you guys feel the same way, tinfoil hat. I'm just here to tell you, whatever you're feeling is part of the process. Even the fact that you're here, subscribe to me, listening to me on your own, says you know that there was something wrong with what you were doing financially. You couldn't put your finger on it, whatever the case may be. That's what it is. That's all part of the process. It's okay to say, I did it wrong. Yep, I have a whole bunch of stupid debt. That's all part of the process. You're supposed to say that out, and you're supposed to say it out loud. Say it to yourself first of all, before you even come up to the mic saying it to me. When you're by yourself, say it to yourself, because yourself needs to hear it. I'm in debt. I really don't own this house with a mortgage. I don't have any equity. It doesn't take 30 years to buy a house. It only takes one day. It doesn't take 30 years. Who cares if my friends think they own houses with mortgages? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I get rid of my car and get a car with no payments. It doesn't matter if they think I'm broke because they're making payments. You'll know the people. This is why I want you to pay close attention to you when you get these embarrassment feelings about downgrading your car. If the people that are embarrassing you are making car payments, it doesn't matter what they think. They're making car payments. Oh man, why you go from this car to that car? Oh man, what's wrong? You having financial problems, man? I could have gave you a loan for this and that. You say, are you making car payments? Yeah, you just chewing them out. If you decide to sell your house and move into an apartment and you got friends talking negatively about you, but they have mortgages, That's why they're doing it. They're mad because you don't have a mortgage like them anymore, so they're upset about it. They think you're wasting money or something. It doesn't matter what people with mortgages believe. It doesn't matter what they believe. People with mortgages are important to the economy, very important. All you got to do is type in total mortgage loan debt. It's in the trillions. Doesn't that tell you they're very important? They're creating trillions of dollars of debt. That means they are very important. That's what that means. Trillions of dollars in car loan debt. That says they are very important to the economy. They're creating trillions of dollars worth of debt. Now you can come over here, create a successful business, and get some of those trillions. There's plenty for everybody. They're making trillions. If you see a man like Warren Buffett and they say, oh, he's worth this and that, you don't be like, oh my God, he's so lucky. You just say, hey, there's plenty of money for everybody. Look, that one person is making billions. That means there's something like, listen, I want to make sure this is clear. When you see people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, and they're making billions of dollars, stop thinking they're special. They just know that capitalism is psychological, positive, and negative. That's the only difference between you and them. They're just regular people that know something that you don't. That's it. And then they capitalized on it. That's it. When you understand this, you remember that they're just regular people with opinions too, that have more money than you. That's it. So when they come up on the mic and say something about something, it don't mean that they're necessarily correct. They're just that's their opinion about it. But you got to remember, once you understand capitalism is psychological and positive and negative, you understand that the future doesn't exist, but the mathematical obvious does. The mathematical obvious does exist. They know that. Like, think about it. Elon is going to Mars and you're making car payments. See the gap? You see the gap right there? Elon's going to Mars, but you're on your knees begging for student loan forgiveness. Do you see the difference? That means he knows something that you don't. And mind you, when you see stuff like that, they obviously have known this throughout their family. That's crystal clear. Okay, it's not a trick. They don't know something. They just say, hey, this is how you do it, and then they just pass it to the children. Then their children grow up knowing that you don't finance depreciating objects with interest, with interest and taxes. Because when you guys finance cars, you got everything you finance, you're financing the taxes too, because you didn't have the money to buy the item. So when you hear somebody finance something, notice that they never tell you about the taxes. Oh, I got it on sale. All you got to do is just turn to them and say, how much was in taxes? This is all you got to do to a debt slave. Then they will not have the answer. How much was the taxes on that? They're going to turn to you and say, I don't know. You know why they don't know? Because they financed them. Because they always say, debt slaves always come up and say, hey, look at this car I just bought. They'll tell you the full price. Hold on. They'll tell you the full price of something. All you got to do is turn to them and say, how much was that in taxes? They won't have the answer. And as soon as they not tell you, guess what they did? They financed the taxes. That's a debt slave. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. Got to take my walk. Enjoy this beautiful sunshine. You guys have a wonderful Friday morning. It's almost afternoon time here. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you, Tinfoil Hat. Thank you, Arlene, for coming up. Appreciate it. I always love it. I want people to hear. That was so cool that Tinfoil Hat came up to tell us that Arlene inspired him. So now when Arlene hears this, if she hasn't already, it's going to inspire her to do more, tell more of her story, just more of whatever she decides to talk about. I love that. That's how it all connects. That's how I know SMD is going to be worldwide. Worldwide. First all over the United States and then the world. There is no business like SMD. No business that I know of, at least. I'm not going to say no business, of course, because I didn't create it. But there's nobody that does it the way I do it. Let's put it that way. Nobody does it the way SMD does it. All right. You guys have a wonderful day. Later.